Welcome to One on One. I'm Greg Bassey, your host from the Salisbury Independent newspaper. It's another big day here at PAC 14. We've got Mike Dunn in to talk about this thing that he and his wife Karen created, Red, White, and Boom. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, Greg. It's a pleasure to be here.
This is the fourth year?
Let's do 6. 4
6?
plus 2 equals 6. This is
Time
the 6th
flies.
year. Yeah.
Time flies. You know, when you started doing this, I thought this will never last. There's no way it'll work. And I was having lunch with you after the first one. At Taylor's Barbecue, and people lined up at our table to thank him for the fireworks show, and I thought, maybe this is going to work. People wanted this thing.
This has nothing to do with me. It has never had anything to do with me. It had to do with returning free community fireworks to Salisbury. So what you saw at Taylor's Barbecue, and I take you at your memory, is exactly that. We can't be the city that we know we need to be if we're not offering free community fireworks.
It's a basic thing.
It's a basic thing. So as I teasingly say, coming up with an idea to return fireworks on the 4th of July would be a little bit like coming up with an idea to return Santa Claus to Christmas morning. So the community, which I knew would embrace this concept, embrace the concept. I just happened to be the person who brought it forward.
Well, Salisbury's rough because there's not a logical place to have fireworks.
No, geographically. No,
Yeah.
You're right. That's true.
The JCs were saddled with this thing forever with a city donation. It was tough to organize, but somehow you found a way to fund it and keep it going.
Correct. We're not going to get into the past and why it wasn't funded. We'll just talk about what happened 6 years ago and what's happened every year since. I think sometimes it takes the right people at the right table to move things forward, and I was highly confident that I knew enough people and that I could make this happen. And again, that the community could make this happen. I was confident that the business community would support it, that the philanthropic community would support it, that the city of Salisbury, Wicomico County, all of our partners who have been our partners. Our first partner was here at Salisbury University. So, you bring a good idea that needs to be brought back and you just sort of get out of the way and enjoy it. And that's what we've been able to do.
But it helps that you've had great shows. You've been hurt by the weather a couple of years, but you've had great shows that people look forward to the next year.
Well, that was one of the things that I said. I said, okay, we're Salisbury, and if we're going to have free community fireworks, we're going to do it right. And so we have set a goal of being the largest fireworks show, not at the beach, on Delmarva. So we do a $20,000 show. So what's that mean to the average viewer? All right, everybody's been to a Shorebirds game, and those games have a lot of fireworks. Well, those fireworks cost about $3,000 to $4,000.
$4,000 show,
yeah. And the Shorebirds are great friends of ours, great friends of Red, White, and Boom. One of the first people that I called because they're in town this year, and
they're doing it the same night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you want baseball and hot dogs and all of that, then Shorebirds is right there. But again, we offer free community fireworks. So the show that you traditionally see at a typical Shorebirds game is about a $4,000 fireworks show. So this is a $20,000 fireworks show. The cool part about Red, White, and Boom is you're a Y-High guy, I'm a Y-High guy, and they're at County Stadium. And if you and I are sitting on our lawn chair, we go 600 feet in the air. And they're being launched from the old mall, which is right across the street. So there are points in the show where you're almost vertically looking up. And I honestly, I don't know all the shows around here, but it's hard to imagine being any closer legally to this kind of fireworks show than you can be by coming and joining us at County Stadium. That's the fun part. We're Salisbury. We're the capital of the Eastern Shore. we need to have the biggest and the baddest fireworks around, and so let's do it.
And that's a good home for it. I was, again, skeptical when you guys were going to the stadium. You did the first year at Bennett.
First year at Salisbury University,
Right.
yeah, where they're now building their intramural. First 2 years were
Right,
at
okay.
Salisbury University. Moved it across the street to what was the then Bennett Middle School. Then moved it to where we are now, which is Wicomico County Stadium. It's as long as that site, 80 acres. I mean, 80 acres in the heart of town makes fireworks launching a pretty easy thing.
Right.
We're aware that the Salisbury Mall site likely won't sit there empty for a while. And the young men who are in charge of Red, White, and Boom starting next year, that'll be one of the challenges that they'll have. But I'll always try to be around to help them as needed.
And it's a great venue. Families can come.
Yeah.
It's sort of enclosed. You can kind of keep up with people. Kids can run around.
Yeah, that's the great thing. It's Americana. I mean, you come in, you walk through the gates. There's a bounce house in an end zone, so well, that's an immediate attraction to kids. There's music on the field. In the other end zone, there are nonprofit vendors set up that are going to be offering things for sale. And then there's great food. We have a great food vendor area. Homemade ice cream right there on site. Snow cones. 2 different hot dog trucks. This year we've got pizza coming out. Maya Bella's is coming out.
Excellent.
So, you just come on in and hang out and find your spot. If you bring your friends, your family, you're just chilling on the field for a few hours. And to your point, excuse me, you're all enclosed in a fenced area, so it's good stuff.
Okay, what time is it?
Yeah, the gates open at 6:30 and the show starts at 9:15. I need to make sure that I get the right plugs in. So this year, because of Toyota,
Right, this is
we
new.
are Red, White, and Boom presented by Toyota.
Right.
And we're thrilled to have them. This is actually their second year, and they love it. There's going to be some Toyota cars and trucks set up at the main gate as you walk in. The other thing that is really important, we want to thank all of our partners, and the Board of Education makes this happen, the Wicomico County Public Schools. Thank you, Donna Hanlon, and Mayor Jake Day in the city of Salisbury. They contribute
Fire
money.
department, they put up the big flag.
Fire department, the Salisbury Police Department, the Wicomico Sheriff's Department, the Wicomico County Tourism Department. It's a community effort, and we just sort of set up the right people in the right place and let things kind of take off from there.
When they unfurl that flag off the back of the ladder truck, that's a moment. It really is.
And it has moved me
Yeah.
quite literally to tears every year as they pull up, and they take such pride in unveiling that flag.
And you get 4,000 or 5,000 people?
Yeah, well, we estimate that within the mile radius around there, you could have as many as 10,000 people watching these fireworks. We don't go over to the Community Foundation parking lot over there on Belmont.
Right.
That's a pretty good spot to watch. The Twilly Center, where the great restaurant that I'm drawing a blank from across from the old
Lombardi's.
Lombardi's, well, that's in Twilly Center, but I can't remember.
Going
That's
Nuts.
okay. Go Nuts. That's it. The Go Nuts parking lot. Yeah. So wherever you want to park, it's a great opportunity.
And you mentioned Community Foundation. There's an account there that people can contribute to.
Yeah, they've been wonderful to us. Anyone who wants to make a donation, the checks go to the Community Foundation. Erica Joseph, they have been wonderful from the second year that we've been moving forward, and they're just fantastic. And we have, I'm very proud to say, a permanent endowment at the Community Foundation, which 6 years in, we've got a little bit more than $20,000 in it. We try to grow it every year. So it's going really well.
Great. What is the Greater Salisbury Committee?
Before I do that,
Okay.
I have to thank these 2 young men, Brian Nelson
Right.
and Ryan
You're handing
Weitzel.
this over. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
they're new. They're the co-chairs this
Right.
year. And they have been wonderful. We first met in my house in January in the basement, and to watch those 2 and their younger brains, our brains, we just sort of keep this stuff up in our head, and it comes out as needed. But they've been doing a great job, and they're going to be there this year, and Ryan and Brian are then going to be in charge of it in 2018, and we're thrilled to have them, and I think we're in pretty good hands.
And are they going to give you a title like Organizer Emeritus? Or
I haven't, that discussion, I assure you, has not been held
get
yet.
special seats?
Everybody gets, it's so funny that you ask that. People, where's the best seat? Well, the best seat, you're at the stadium.
Yeah.
You're within 300 yards. So the best seat is on the floor of Wicomico County Stadium, as I view it.
So once again, the details are?
Yeah, so Red, White, and Boom, the gates. We open the gates to the public at 6:30. That's when they can kind of start come in and claim their space, enjoy their bleachers, enjoy their ice cream and hot dogs, and get ready, listen to music, bring your kids to the bounce houses. Enjoy your friends and family who are there with you. Then at 9:15, the fireworks are going to start right across the street. They're going to start again this year with a gold firework first. That's for the Gold Star families who serve in the military.
Oh, excellent.
Then we're going to launch a blue firework. That'll be for the Blue Star families. Then thanks to WBOC FM radio, they're going to do some patriotic music to go along with the fireworks. If you're in your car and not in the stadium, tune to 102.5 and you'll be able to hear it. Fireworks will last about 25 minutes. Our friends here at Pac 14 have taped it every single year. So if by chance you can't get to the stadium, they'll run it over and over. We thank them. Again, everybody in the community has been wonderful. And so, yeah, come on out, 6:30, and join us at Wicomico County Stadium and get ready for the fireworks at 9:15 from wherever it is you're comfortable watching them.
Can we talk about Greater Salisbury Committee?
Yes, we can talk about, we can talk about Greater Salisbury
So
Committee.
lots going on there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty impressed. What is the Greater Salisbury Committee for people who don't understand this?
Yeah, the Greater Salisbury Committee is a nonprofit organization made up of the business leaders within this community. Typically, they're the owners of a company or the president or the general manager of a company, and also the heads of institutions like PRMC and Warwick and the Community Foundation. And the Greater Salisbury Committee is a nonprofit membership organization, and our mission is to serve as a catalyst in the community. If we identify a challenge in the community, an opportunity, a problem, then in theory we have about 100 members. The theory goes that because of who those 100 members are, any of the challenges coming to the city of Salisbury or any of the neat new things that could happen, in theory they can come through us. And with our collaborative efforts with the Salisbury Area Chamber, with the United Way, with the Community Foundation, with SWED, then, with Junior Achievement, then we ought to be able to figure out a way to move the ball forward.
You force a dialogue.
We force a dialogue, and we're collaborators. When there's an issue, we're a good place for that issue to come in and land. I like to tell people that Greater Salisbury sits at a pretty interesting intersection. You never know what's coming through the door on any given day or what phone call is coming in. And one of the things we're working on right now with the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce is, the question about ice hockey. Can we handle ice hockey in the community on Delmarva?
I vote no.
You vote no, and I vote let's see.
But I'm wrong about everything.
Well, I vote let's explore this.
Right.
Let's see if we can find a local owner who's interested. So we had the gentleman who was spearheading this, a guy by the name of Jim Calpin. We had him as our guest at Greater Salisbury Committee last month.
Right.
So we got to introduce that idea.
And if I had gone, maybe I'd have a different attitude about it.
Correct.
Now.
We
Exactly. So
invited
it forces the dialogue.
3 county council members. They got an opportunity to learn more about it. You see the demographics. And, the question we want to explore is, can we do it? Can we do it in a reasonable way? We want to hear from the community. We want to see, most importantly, can we afford it? Who's going to make those changes happen? So, again, you partner, and Bill Chambers, the new president and CEO of the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce, he's been a wonderful addition to the community. Ernie Colburn had done a fantastic job, and Bill is stepping right in, and we're working in a real strong collaborative way.
I was doing the Today in History column for this coming week, and it was 20 years ago this week on June 29th, that Kathleen Kennedy Townsend, Lieutenant Governor, was in town to give out a $200,000 hotspots grant for crime-riddled areas.
Sure.
And the application for that grant was written by Louis Luna of the Greater Salisbury Committee.
He would have been the executive director at that time
Right.
of the Greater Salisbury Committee.
So it reminded me of the kind of things that Greater Salisbury did, and you're doing that stuff again now.
Yeah, we, again, We are. We're looking right now. We have a committee that's looking into the Wycomico County revenue cap. We're 17 years into the revenue cap being the law of the land, if you will. One of the things we're going to do is to educate the community. I dare say that of the next 500 people who walk out of the Acme, and if we ask them what the revenue cap was,
no one remembers anymore.
I don't think there's 10 people who could, within the entire county, who could identify what is the revenue cap,
or explain it correctly.
Explain it correctly. And so, we're just looking into that. 17 years into it, I actually said to our Greater Salisbury Committee general membership when I was suggesting that we look at this, I sort of paused and I said, I used the phrase, I said, now don't freak out. But I think it's something that the Greater Salisbury Committee should be looking into, and we are. Bob Moore is the chair of it. We're taking advantage of Memo Derricker and Beacon and Salisbury University to provide us with the kind of the analytics and the metrics, and we hope to be presenting it to the community soon. So we think it's important stuff. We think it's fun stuff. One of the fun things we're doing, thanks to you and your paper, we were on the cover of your paper.
That's right.
This past week, the downtown courthouse uplighting. I was at something about 3 years ago when Jake Day brought the University of Maryland architecture folks down, something that the city of Salisbury has just won an award for. I heard an idea at one of those sessions. Somebody said, hey, down in Savannah, Georgia, they have a courthouse that's uplit. I'm like, I sort of filed that idea away. I'm like, well, when can we? So the opportunity came. We, Greater Salisbury Committee, we're 50 years old this year. Wycomico County is 150 years old this year. Big celebrations planned, including a gala that we are throwing.
That's why I'm growing a beard
That's
for the
exactly,
150
that's
celebration. Right. It's not that I couldn't skip a drink and buy a razor. I had to do this, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, the beard, what's it called?
The Brothers of the Brush.
Brothers of the Brush. So
yes.
Greg is an official Brother of the Brush, and I salute that.
I'm not going to make it.
You're going to make it.
September 15th is a long way away.
So on September the 15th, that's third Friday, we're spearheading the effort to uplight the historic Wycomico County Courthouse.
It's going to be so nice.
It's going to be unbelievable.
I saw him up there the other day painting the very top of it.
Yeah.
And I got really excited. It's going to look nice.
You're going to be able to see that clock tower from a lot of different points in town. The old stem pipe that's about 150 yards away, the city of Salisbury is about to uplight it.
Right.
So, the skyline's you're going to be able to see that clock tower from a lot of different places. And that's the Greater Salisbury Committee's gift, if you will, to the community to commemorate their 150th anniversary. So we're thrilled to be doing that.
And One Plaza East is uplit, which is which looks nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. So this will be One Plaza East on steroids. Brian Lecomte from Yard Designs, who's one of the best in the business. Brian's been hired to do the job, so it's going to be pretty spectacular.
It's funny, and Robert Parker, who I've known for many years, he's the electrician.
He's the electrician.
And I talked to him about it, and he was giddy with excitement. He can't wait to get up there and do this.
Again, according to the article in your paper, and thank you for the cover, I think Robert's mom used to work in that courthouse. Yeah. And Robert Parker, again, for those of you who know, Robert Parker doesn't get giddy about too many things. But he's a great guy, talented guy, and he's
great chef too.
Chef.
Yeah, people don't know that.
He's really thrilled to be able to be part of this.
You guys are doing lots of other things. Like last summer, you organized a water drive for Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
Things you would never think of.
Well, at-risk youth is part of the thing that we've been working on and concentrating on. We helped, again, two great individuals, Jermichael Mitchell and Mandel Copeland, were putting together a bottled water drive to get water to Flint, Michigan. But they couldn't, how do we get it there? So we stepped up and we contacted Jim Purdue, and Purdue Farms provided the first truck.
A man with trucks.
He's got a lot of trucks, so thanks to the Purdue Foundation, they made that happen. We also have been part of, there's the new Youth Development Advisory Committee that the mayor put together. Greater Salisbury Committee had a great deal of input and provided a lot of the people who are members. That group just won an award for what it's doing relative to the community center on Newton Street.
I was thrilled they won it right in the middle of my deadline on Tuesday, so it's
So
in
you
the paper.
got it in. That's all about that. With
I
you,
didn't
it's
get it in.
always about deadlines.
I didn't get it in. I mean, pick another day to give those awards out,
Yeah.
please. I mean, the fireworks. I'm completely blown on that because you are having fireworks right on my deadline.
On purpose?
Hey, you could
the
move July 4th.
The 4th of July happens to fall on a Tuesday this year, and that's Make a Paper Tuesday, as
That's
we
right.
all know.
So what's going to be on the cover? The Allen fireworks parade or
Right.
whatever. Yeah,
That's okay.
Yeah.
Provided us great coverage. So.
Yeah. But anyway, back on planet Earth.
Yeah, so no, it's great. And look at what Superintendent Hanlon and Mayor Day just did with the Choices Academy, and the other half of the Choices Academy building is going to be the second community center. So Greater Salisbury Committee has been deeply involved kind of quietly in those sorts of discussions. So, you know, again, it's an exciting time in the community, and there's just a lot of, as I think you're part of it, it's a lot of the right people in the right time in the right places doing good things. So
you gave some good support to Judge Massarella with his innovative idea for the Doverdale playground.
I mean, the Doverdale lacrosse program. Matt Massarello, when he was then state's attorney, and Chief Barbara Duncan, they wrote a grant and they got some funding to buy equipment. And there was the Doverdale lacrosse program and the Doverdale Hawks. So what we were able to do at Greater Salisbury Committee, because of our good friend Jim Berkman, the best lacrosse coach on the planet, who just won his 12th national championship at Salisbury University, we were able to get the Doverdale Hawks to see their first lacrosse game at SU Stadium. And we were able to get them to go out at halftime and be recognized. And I mean, to see the look in those kids' faces as they got off that bus, and there they were at this beautiful stadium, and they got a tour of the stadium. They got to go to the press box, and then there they are on the field at halftime. I mean, you know, that might not sound like much, but when the chief of the police department and a judge, you know, put their time into creating a lacrosse program in one of our more challenging neighborhoods, I mean, boy, what kind of community is that? That's the kind of community I want to live in.
One of my favorite pictures of the year is at the Doverdale playground. They were playing basketball, and there were some police officers there, and there's 4 or 5 officers on defense with all their equipment on, their guns, their mace, their everything, and these kids are dribbling toward them. And it's just like, it's amazing to see that interaction, that connectivity.
And Chief Duncan, I mean, that's where this comes from. She firmly believes that you've got to interact, and her officers and all people in the community, it's about interaction. You see her police force doing those sorts of things all the time. They were in some of the Doverdale lacrosse pictures out there helping practice. And again, that's just good stuff. That kind of story is the kind of story that you see if you watch any of the national news broadcasts. That's that last story. You know, that last story right before they go. That's one of those stories, and you know, we're proud to be part of it. We're all part of it, so it's just good stuff.
You guys are sponsoring the Transitional Community Leadership Series. What is that?
Well, that is an idea that one of our GSC members, Chris Eccleston, floated in the community for the better part of 2 years. The idea is to take the next generation, not people like you and me, but people like Chris Eccleston and his peers, and to have them be exposed and drilled down. These are people who are already involved in the community. So let's put them together. Excuse me, let's create this cohort. And let's let them go learn more about the entities that actually are really important in the community. So where have we been? We've been to the Wicomico County Detention Center. We've been to the Paleo Water Treatment Plant on Naylor Mill Road. We have the best tasting water in the state of Maryland. We've been to our schools. We took them to one of our not so shining schools, Beaver Run Elementary, good for the teachers and staff there who do the best they can. Amazing
in difficult circumstances,
Then we took them to Bennett Middle School. And then this past month we did manufacturing. And then thanks to you, you serve as the facilitator. We then have a panel discussion. And I mean, these panel discussions have great guests on them. And it's a back and forth Q&A. And so What we're hoping to do with this cohort, this transformational community leadership series, is, you know, take them, get them more interested in the things in the community that matter, so that, you know, when there is a discussion down the road on a city council or a county council level on, you know, some of these things, they'll have a better understanding of it. And frankly, hopefully, who knows, this cohort, maybe they are the next leaders in the community and they're the next people who have great ideas. And we just want to get them engaged. So it's been fabulously successful.
Yeah, the Beaver Run School is eligible. It's on the list for replacement at some point in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
With every school in this county, when there's a replacement, there's a huge political battle. And people who probably don't know any better say, oh, you know, the county school doesn't need that. It's fine the way it is, or, you know, they're gold plating it or whatever. But these people who have these leaders, future leaders who have been in and seen this thing now, they're going to have a whole different perspective when that political argument is made.
And that's exactly right. They walked through the corridors of a school that was designed in the late 1950s and built in the late 1950s and was designed by an architect from Florida who thought outdoor breezeways were the way to go. So Beaver Run and Y High, both of us are Y High people, they have these breezeways. Well, when you walk down the breezeways at Beaver Run these days and you see these nets hanging from the roof of the breezeway, and you hear that the nets were put in so that it would keep the birds that were nesting up there, and on occasion some
Pooping on the
other
kids.
insects and snakes and
Snakes,
things.
yeah.
You sit there and that group, you were there, Greg, I mean, their jaws dropped open when they saw the condition of that school. So again, not to get into the politics of it, but the more people know and the more they understand and the more they're educated, we think that only benefits the community, and that's what this TCL group is all about. And it's, again, been really, really successful.
Yeah, that knowledge is important, because I was in a meeting with the county executive, and the Choices Academy issue came up, and that's the school for kids who
is alternative.
yeah, the kids
school,
who
that's
are
right.
in trouble,
A little bit challenged at school,
Right.
yeah.
And that's going to go right there off Naylor Street,
Yeah.
right there near the Doverdale neighborhood. In
That's
fact,
right.
And I remember John Palmer, who was always a big critic of the school board at budget time. Yeah. He's now a school board member, and I thought, well, John Palmer is going to be against this Choices thing, and he's the biggest advocate ever for Choices.
Yeah, because he has now kind of gotten inside the belly of the beast,
Right.
if you will.
And they haven't co-opted him. He's
right.
part of the discussion. He understands what the challenges are and what the needs are.
And I think if more people, and again, that's part of our responsibility. It's part of your
And mine,
responsibility.
yeah.
The more we can educate and inform, regardless of how you see things, I think if you ultimately get your opinion based on, I've done my own homework and I've learned about the topic, then I can make a better informed decision about it and try to keep the, if you will, the politics out of it.
There's been some talk about community's been on sort of a good run here, and people wonder if we can sustain it. Do you worry about that?
I do. To be candid, I think a lot of our energy and a lot of our positive activity is, again, I say this often on your show and out there in the community, a lot of the credit goes to Mayor Jake Day. There's very little question that Jake has had this enormous impact and has helped us all as a community see the possible and see the things that we can do. And I think that energy has spread, and we need to be able to sustain that. If Mayor Jake Day went away, and nobody is suggesting that, but then you got to wonder, okay, who's picking up that ball and where are we going with it? You look at county executive, Bob Culver has certainly done, he's trying to look at the Henry Parker complex, look at those new softball fields, look at the ice hockey idea. He got alcohol, we can sell beer at the Civic Center.
Which turns the Civic Center into a profitable...
I know that sounds like a silly thing, but so Bob is moving the ball forward too also. So, to me it's all about moving the ball forward in a positive way. You've been around, I've been around when this community got right on the edge of eating itself alive, being angry and conspiracy theories, but that's behind us, at least for now. And there's no question that we're on an upward trajectory. And I think if we all, the TCL group, whether Jake Day is the mayor or not, I think we're creating a new energy here. I think some of the things Jake are doing, they'll be permanent, and we'll get to see the efforts downtown, et cetera. And if we all stay at it and stay positive, I think things are possible.
I think the Folk Festival is going to help us stay on our run. We're sort of contracted into it.
We haven't, the city of Salisbury, this is our chance on the national stage again.
Yeah.
We haven't had this opportunity really since the days of the old tennis tournament back in the 60s and 70s. So you get 100 to 150,000 people in your community over a weekend. Boy, your community, that's a big boost. So again, these things, they're all creating this energy that you talk about, and we'll just keep it going and let's ride it for as long as we can and try to make some things happen.
Red, White, and Boom is on Tuesday.
Yeah, it is.
6:15, the gates open?
6:30.
6:30?
Don't forget, we had the rain date on July the 5th.
Right.
So, yeah, we're very excited about it. And the community, again, has been wonderful. We invite everybody to come out and just enjoy free fireworks. It's really as simple as that.
He's Mike Dunn. He's from the Greater Salisbury Committee. He's the president and chief executive officer. Thanks for being here today, Mike.
Greg, thank you.
I'm Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent Newspaper. Another edition of 101 right here on PAC 14.
First Shore Federal is proud to support PAC 14 and one-on-one. We'd encourage every business to support PAC 14 and pick a program and support it, and let's make a difference.